May I start?
No, I'll let you know, Manji. Yeah. Just a moment.
One people so far.
All right. So it's 8:30 p.m. IST. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from your respective time zones. Again, we are here to another session of TEG Talk. And in this chain, this is the 19th session. And that has, as I repeat, before the session, that has been always the plan that, we bring veteran entrepreneurs to motivate young entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, or people who are just start to get motivated. But also, this can be used as a platform for connection to get some kind of understanding of on what's happening in the field, or to get some kind of knowledge or gyan as we are calling it. And we have a pretty strong active community, WhatsApp community, over 900 people, IIT Bombay alumni majorly, but also non-alumni. And as far as speakers are concerned, we have always been looking forward to uh, entrepreneurs who have done tremendous in their journey with us, but other ITB alumni and also non-alumni. So we had Kavan Rekhi ji, Ramanan ji before, Raj Nair ji. Raj is among us here. He's listening to Mohan ji as well. Both of them are friends. So yeah, so this has been a pretty interesting journey. This is the 19th talk, and it's pretty active platform, and that's the whole idea to go forward with this. So without taking further time, I'll ask my co-host Rishi to formally introduce Mohanji. You're on mute, Rishi.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Vaibhav. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, wherever you may be. I'm Rishikesh Satwane, a 1997 graduate of IIT Bombay. My connection with our alma mater is strong, having served as president of the IITB Heritage Foundation's San Francisco Bay Area chapter for 2 years. Currently, I balance my role as CMO for Sprouts AI while serving on the boards of IIT startups. It's a true pleasure to be here tonight and welcome Mr. Mohan Kavrie. We are gathered to celebrate and hear the remarkable journey of Mr. Mohan Kavrie. His story begins at IIT Bombay, of course, where he earned his degree in 1971. That was before I was born. Followed by a master's in operations research in the US, which he completed in 1973. Returning to Mumbai, he quickly rose through the ranks of a mid-sized company. However, when the company faltered in the early 1980s, facing closure, Mohan chose not to rebuild with another organization. Instead, with the spark of entrepreneurial spirit, he embarked on a new venture, non-woven fabrics. Crucially, Mohan's integrity, honesty, and deep industry knowledge impressed Mr. Ismail Bhai Dhariwala, who invested rupees 2 crores. That is 1986, a much bigger amount than today. And he believed in Mohan's vision. Investment enabled the founding of Supreme Nonwoven Private Limited in 1986, with its first plant near Vapi, Gujarat. Nonwovens, essential components of technical textiles, now represent nearly 30% of the textile market in developing countries, with the applications ranging from industrial to consumer products. Today, Supreme Nonwovens is a leading company, not just in India, but it's a global player. Nonwoven technologies. In the mid 90s, Supreme strategically integrated into the automotive sector, manufacturing interior trims and acoustic insulation and many more things, where it has also become a market leader. The company is consistently recognized for its technological innovation, unwavering quality, and reliable delivery. I saw some of the customer testimonials from Ford, etc., on YouTube. They're amazing. I mean, every startup testimonials. So for 2 decades, Mohan has actively contributed to the Ministry of Textiles initiatives, serving on various government and industry committees to promote the development of technical textiles in India. He also serves on the governing councils of several research and educational institutes. His outstanding contributions have been recognized, of course, with the Distinguished Alumnus Award from IIT Bombay and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Indian Textile Association. Both impact on the textile industry, especially in the field of technical textiles. Dear friends, here I welcome Mr. Mohan Kavrie.
Off to you, Mohanji, please.
You're muted, Mohanji.
I think there is some volume issues.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful introduction. Now, the title of today's theme is Accidental Entrepreneur. Now, I describe myself as accidental because anybody who knew me in my early days, and that includes until I completed my master's, would never have even imagined that I could become. I come from a family where we have only worked for somebody else. And that is what I would have normally done. I believed I was intelligent until I joined IIT. The moment I joined IIT, I got a big shock when I met very many brilliant minds. And another thing that happened is that I realized that I do not like engineering. It sounds strange, but that is the fact. I was there in IIT because in those days you did what was expected by your parents. Unfortunately, as I did not take a liking to engineering, I only went through the motions. I failed in my second year thanks to applied mechanics. And probably that was a turning point because maybe it took away the fear of failing. So I completed my graduation in 6 years instead of 5 as it was during that time. And then I decided to go abroad. My brother-in-law had done his master's in operations research from the US the previous year. And therefore, I could think of nothing else. And I enrolled for a course in operations research. As I had graduated at the bottom of my class, there was no possibility of my getting any scholarship or any kind of financial assistance. And also, my father was in no position to fund me. Yes. And practically from the first week, I started working in the evenings to pay for my fees and for my living, and went to college during the daytime. Even before I went to the US, I was very clear that I wanted to make a career and a life only in India. Please, it is not to be mistaken for any kind of. It was a personal choice. Again, some people felt maybe I came back because I'm the only son. No, that was also not true, because during those times, actually, parents were quite happy if their children settled in the US. Coming from a non-business family and community, obviously I had to seek a job. When I tried to get a job, I realized that most people do not know what operations research is. Some of them thought that maybe I will become a doctor. Frankly, there was zero scope at that time. I got a big break, which I realized much later, is I joined a small company. This was into sugar, alcohol-based chemicals, and liquor. I was lucky that from the very first day, I worked directly with my managing director, like an executive assistant. I rose very quickly as far as designations are concerned, but I rose like an executive assistant until the last day. My boss was brilliant. He could read an engineering drawing better than most engineers. I said other engineers. I did not say myself because I really can't read any engineering drawing. As far as any legal document is concerned, he could do that also. As far as any financial statement is concerned, he was really an expert at that. And mind you, he was only a senior Cambridge. He started working at the age of 16 due to certain family circumstances. He was a self-taught person. As he gave me more and more responsibility, obviously, I learned everything that is required to run a business. A time came when people used to joke that the company is actually being run by me and not by him. But there was one negative aspect about my boss. And this is something which is a message to those who are listening to me. He was hesitant to take decisions. He thought if you wait long enough, problems solve themselves. This doesn't happen. So despite being a hard worker, despite being brilliant, his company was sinking gradually. By the mid-80s, it had become sick. I was at the top, but the company was coming down. I was worried. A few years earlier, my company, I always refer to that company as my company, had acquired a small non-woven company in Jaipur, which had very old, outdated machinery. It was the second non-woven unit in the country. And there was another unit in Mumbai belonging to the Tatas, which was also a very tiny unit and also with outdated machinery. So at that time, there were two non-woven units in the country, both sick. We realized the potential of non-wovens, and therefore my management sent me abroad several times to study the industry. During one of the visits, I came across a production line which was, for me at that time, state of the art, which was available for a song because the owners wanted to buy a new line which was much larger. I told my MD that we should buy this line. But unfortunately, I should have known the truth is that we have no money. So one day I got the idea to ask one of the suppliers to the company, who I knew was a wealthy person, one Ismail Bhai Dhariwal, if he would fund the project and become a partner with my boss. Without blinking an eyelid, he said no. For me, that was a joke. And therefore, the discussion did not proceed further. I struggled. This was in May of 1984. I struggled for another 6 months, but nothing was happening. And primarily because my boss was not taking a decision. I realized that I cannot sink with the boat. I had a responsibility towards my family, as I was dependent. So in December 84, I asked Ismail Bhai, you remember you had made this offer, does it still stand? He said, of course. Once I have said it, it is forever. So I said, we don't really know each other. Whatever little we know has been on a very casual basis. So we decided to meet in the evening and get to know each other. Where all 5 brothers have not completed school. And I come from a family where practically everybody is a postgraduate or more. So there was a distinct difference between his background and my background. But we decided to go ahead with the project. The project which I had in mind was very small. Of course, everything I say is with reference to that time. So you must take that also into consideration. So I'm talking of December 84. The project cost for a small non-owned unit was 25 lakhs, of which we would be able to raise 20 lakhs from the financial corporation because they would give this loan as I was a technocrat. All we needed was 5 lakhs of our own. Having decided that we'll go ahead, I asked him, how shall we do it? He said, in partnership. I said, yes, but how? He said, how many are we? I said, 2, but I still don't understand. So he said, we are going to do it in partnership. We are 2, so it means 50-50. So I immediately said, but I have no money. So he laughed and said, that much I already know about you. And he said, please understand one thing. You actually don't need me. If you decide, you can do this project entirely on your own. What you are bringing to the project is much more important than the money. So he offered to put up the 2.5 lakhs that I should have put up, along with his own 2.5 lakhs. Having decided that, I put one condition. I said, at this time, my company is in serious trouble. I can't abandon my management. We can start. They relieved me. They took 1.5 years to relieve me. So finally, it was on 30th June, 1986 that they relieved me. In this 1.5 years, everything had changed. The production line I had seen in 84 was long back gone. So I had to start from scratch. But here again, an unfortunate accident, and this is was a turning point in my life. In June of 86, a person who had set up a non-owned plant with brand new machinery that he had got from Taiwan, unfortunately died in an accident. The unit was only 4 months old. So I will not go into the detail, but in just a week, we took over that unit and it cost us 2 crore rupees. And the amount had to be paid within 30 days. Ismail Bhai arranged the entire amount. He still gave me the 50% share, and he never involved himself in the business and left it entirely to me. We remained partners for 18 years. During this, he never asked me even once, what is the turnover, what is the profit? The maximum that he asked me is, I hope everything is good. 18 years later, one day he called me and said, Mohan, I'm very sorry, but we have to leave. He said, you know how my brothers are. Our family is splitting on account of my brothers. If we remain, my brothers will start interfering in the company and they will destroy you and the company. So, in your interest and the interest of the company, I am still the head of the family. I am deciding to leave. I tried to persuade him to remain because I said so many years it has gone on without any problems. But he said, no, you do not know how bad my brothers are. So I asked him what I should pay for his 50%. He said, look, I don't know anything. You please decide. Now this put me in a real fix. Because in a private limited company, it is very difficult to decide the value of the company. So I approached Raj Nair. I think he may be listening to me. Raj Nair heads a consulting firm, which is one of the best in the world, not only in India. So I told Raj, look, this man trusts me. So please do the valuation, which may be on the higher side, but under no circumstances, it should be on the lower side. Don't try to help me by keeping the amount down. If Ismail Bhai feels that I have shortchanged him, I will lose all the respect I have earned over the years. So Raj did a proper evaluation. He's a thorough professional. And he gave me a big fat report. I took this to Ismail Bhai and I tried to give the report to him. He did not take the report. He only asked me, how much is it? Meaning, what is the figure in the report? I told him, and he said, "Theek hai." That's all he said, "Theek hai." It's okay. And with those 2 words, I became the owner of the company. It took me 2 years to pay him, but he never bothered about that. So looking back, I do not know why he helped me, because there apparently was no self-interest at all. Unfortunately, Ismail Bhai passed away on August 29th, 2023. He was a great man. Many such things have happened subsequently also, which have been really, unusual, but I cannot go into it because then this whole session will be nothing about what I am supposed to speak and only about myself. So now let me get to the real reason why we are having this session. Most of you, or rather I should not say most, all of you are very intelligent people. So normally, all of you should be successful in anything that you do. However, there is a big difference between the academic world and the real world. In the real world, intelligence and your knowledge of what you have studied is definitely very important. But there are other factors which are even more important. One of the most important factors is EQ. IQ without EQ can be a disaster. So, also, what is your adversity quotient is also important. How capable you are of facing problems and not getting disheartened or defeated. Falling and rising is very necessary if you want to be an entrepreneur. So, if you are averse to risk, if you can't handle failure, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. Actually, with a good education, if all that you're interested in is having a comfortable life, I think it is best that you take up a job in a good company. With your background, you are bound to reach the top. Why go through the hassles, the struggles that an entrepreneur has to go through? Here I will tell you my personal experience. My wife did not want my son to join the company. A reason was, after the good education he has, it is not necessary for him to struggle the way you have struggled. He can have a very comfortable life if he does a job. So, be sure that entrepreneurship means lot of hardship. Yes, if you succeed, then you can have a comfortable life. But usually, to maintain that comfort, you have to continue to work your entire life. There is no end to it. It is like sitting on a tiger and feeding it. The more you feed it, the larger and bigger the tiger becomes, and there is no getting off. So, please be very clear at the very beginning as to whether you can sustain it for your whole life. Whenever somebody tells me that he wants to become an entrepreneur, I am very happy. My reason is a little different. When you take up a job which somebody else has created. When you become an entrepreneur, you provide jobs to others. And there can be nothing more satisfying when you look back as to how many jobs you have created and how many families you are helping. This satisfaction is something that is to be experienced. People ask me, what is the secret of my success? Honestly, there is no secret. It is the absolute usual thing. That is, you have to be focused, you have to work hard. But very randomly and in no particular sequence, I will share a few of my thoughts. All entrepreneurship normally starts with a good idea. But just an idea is not enough. you must have a plan for execution of that idea. In the beginning, you will be from chairman to peon. But if you continue to play that role, then you are not really building a company, please. You are employing yourself. So, very early in your entrepreneurship, you must learn to leverage the knowledge and experience of your team. You cannot be doing everything. You try to do everything, the company can only grow to your capacity. You leverage the expertise and knowledge of those in your team, you can build a much larger company. It is not necessary that you be the most intelligent person in your team. You have to be the person that binds the team and makes them productive. The other point that you have to always check is the sustainability and the scalability of the business. Because if you do not check this factor, then probably you are going to create a company that only meets your own requirement and a little more. If that is so, why do you have to go through all this problem? All the headache? Might as well do a job. So, you have to have higher ambitions. You have to have the ambition to build a business that is going to become an institution, that is going to last beyond you. It is not to sustain you while you are there. It has to go beyond you and hopefully go on for generations. That is the true meaning of entrepreneurship. Otherwise, it is, something that you do only to sustain yourself. Another factor, and this applies to some of the people who may be in business for already in business for several years. Please understand that what got you to where you are today may only keep you where you are today and take you no further. So you have to reinvent yourself. If you don't reinvent yourself, you perish. What worked before may not work necessarily today. Another problem is success. Many entrepreneurs fail after succeeding. Now, that is really tragic. Why do they fail? They fail due to very many reasons. One of that is arrogance. Second is lack of financial discipline. You have to always understand that you are working for the company and the company is not working for you. There has to be a wall between the company and you. If you do not do it, it can lead to disaster. One of the things that also you have to focus on is waste. If you do not focus on waste, you are allowing good money to go into the gutter. you have to be very careful when you hire people. It is very easy to add people, but next to impossible in a country like India to reduce the number of employees. So, waste and very prudent hiring of people is very, very necessary. Next, what I'm going to say is known to everybody, but still needs to be said, is many people are focused on top line growth. But they say top line is vanity. It is bottom line, which is sanity. So doing business without profit is very foolish. And if unfortunately, you are losing money, then accepting business at any cost can only lead to further losses. Most companies, when they are in difficult financial conditions, start accepting business at a loss, thinking that we will survive today and tomorrow will be different. No, it is not true. Never do any business knowingly if there is a loss. It cannot change your fortunes. It can only make things worse. One of the things that I have learned is people enjoy work. If they are not enjoying work, is because we have demotivated them. We have tried to micromanage them. So I say, please allow people to work. Now, this word allow seems very simple, but most bosses think they know everything and try to micromanage. Don't look over the shoulder of your employees. Give them freedom to work. And most important, allow them to make honest mistakes. Because if they work, definitely they will also sometimes make mistakes. Overlook them. Look at the larger good they do. As the head of the company, please make sure that you are fair in your treatment of your employees. When I say fair, I mean do not be partial towards a few you like and treat others differently. Treat every employee exactly the same way. And also, don't lend your ears to anybody who comes and tells you anything about another employee. It is a sure recipe for disaster. You will be creating politics within your own organization. So, never encourage people to come and complain to you about somebody else. Now, one of the things, I think I'm nearing the end, at least as far as my time is concerned. One of the things that people unfortunately believed, and quite a few until recently, is that you have to cut corners in order to succeed in India. Please, it is a myth created by dishonest people who wanted to make easy money. It is possible to succeed in India remaining 100% honest. And this is another aspect. you have to clearly demonstrate your integrity and honesty to your employees. If you do not do it, be sure that your employees are not going to give their best to you. They are intelligent. They can easily see if you are not being honest. And nobody likes to work for somebody who is dishonest. I'm more interested in taking questions, so I'll end it over here with one last message that I have, which I always like to share with anybody that I address. All of you, some have already succeeded, some who are starting out. Let me assure you that with your background, all of you are going to succeed. So what happens after you succeed? You have a big responsibility, please, when you succeed. A life that has been lived without making a difference is a life that has not been lived. So please, when you reach that stage where you can do something, please start making a difference to others. Thank you. Now I would like to take questions.
Great. Thanks, Mohanji, for a fantastic talk. So we do have a couple of questions. To begin with, Udita is asking how to navigate investment crunch without losing the company share or driving company into debt.
Could you repeat that question?
How to navigate investment crunch without losing the company share or driving company into debt.
See, in such a situation, the normal way these days is not to increase debt, is to part with some shareholding. But it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes the PE is so focused on his own agenda that sooner or later he forces you to exit. So, while taking funds from a PE seems to be a solution, it has to be done very carefully and ensuring that they do not get the upper hand. That is very essential. And also, while I said that debt is something you have to be very careful of, debt is something which can be paid and finished with over time. But when you part with equity, it usually gone forever. So you have to really look at the pros and cons of both.
Thank you. The second question is from Ramkrishnan Parmeshwaran. Did you face any bureaucratic hurdles and any instances on how you and please elaborate any instances of how you overcame it?
Unfortunately, this is a daily thing. But the thing is now, for example, myself, in these 38 years, except on one occasion where unknowingly we did some business with DRDO, we have, other than that one instance, we have not done a single rupee of business with any defense organization or any PSU. Because we don't have that know-how and don't wish to, get that know of how to do business with them. Also, Usually, I mean, as far as this bureaucracy is concerned, sometimes the businessman is also responsible. He seeks some favors from them. Please, it comes at a big cost. Don't go near politicians. Don't go near bureaucrats. Try to run your business independent of them. It is difficult, but it can be done.
Great. Thanks. And Sanjay Kulkarni is asking about your journey. In fact, he is asking about the role of your spouse in your journey, if you would like to share.
Is Sanjaya Kulkarni asking this question?
Yeah.
Sanjaya is one of the persons who's coming with me on the trip to Spain.
So probably he wants others to know, maybe the young entrepreneurs to know about this journey and the importance of, such a spouse in their lives.
Probably I should thank him for asking this question.
Okay.
Because the support from the spouse is the most important. Because after a whole day's work with very many, problems, you return home, and if there is any issues, you can neither be happy at work nor at home. And really the encouragement comes from the spouse. I could not have done anything because, see, one thing is for sure, an entrepreneur pays a huge cost as far as the wife and the bringing up of the children is concerned. He leaves it entirely to his wife. And they do a good job, let me tell you. What entrepreneurs do is spoil their grandchildren.
Thank you. So this is the next question is from Mr. Narendra Modi. I'm not sure if the Prime Minister is here, but
Probably a false name, yeah.
I can then give him some advice.
So his question is, there are two questions. I'll put the first question here. India has now pile of patents in all fields as we are Vishwaguru. Why Indian experts still choose foreign companies to bring their technology here?
Yes. Let me tell you. I've had two joint ventures. The first joint venture was required because an Indian company believes, an Indian customer here believes that you need a foreign partner in order to serve them. When Peugeot came to India and did a partnership with Premier Automobiles, as is the practice in the auto industry, the supplier of Peugeot had to follow them to India. So they needed a partner because they cannot do without an Indian partner in India. They chose us. When we did the partnership, we were probably well under 100 crore company. But we negotiated where the management was 100% with us and the partnership was 50-50. So you have not to easily give in to the partner. You have to be tough with them. They need you as much as you need them. And yes, as far as technology is concerned, there is a belief that in some things you need them. Yes, if you take help from them, it can be accelerated. You do it on your own, it takes more time. So you have to choose between the two. We eventually were able to buy over both our French and German partner. But you have to be tough in the negotiations with them, please. You cannot give them the upper hand in the beginning. If you give them the upper hand in the beginning, it's a losing proposition. You are going to be bought out sooner or later. But I must tell you one interesting thing about our own experience. Premier Automobiles introduced this French company to several Indian companies. All the others were much bigger than us and much older than us. But the French company chose us to be the partner. So when we were signing the joint venture agreement in Paris, I asked the French owner, at that time they were a 170-year-old company at that time, in 1996. So I asked the owner as to why they chose us. He said, you please ask the director of international operations, one of their senior managers, the reason. So I looked at him and asked him, why? So he said, very simple. Whenever we do some association of any kind, we do all the due diligence. We thoroughly examine all the pros and cons. And if at the end we decide that we are going to partner, we ask ourselves one final question. And that question is, can we be friends? Now, would you believe that a European company asked this question? We remain friends, and we are friends to this day, despite the fact they have exited. So it all depends. Actually, it requires two hands to clap, please. So they are not all bad, please. They are good also.
So I'll go ahead with the second part of the second question from Narendra Modi. Many Indian developers call themselves AI expert, but without knowledge of mathematics. Why they don't learn and earn good expertise in mathematics first and then become AI developers? I'm not sure if
You're competent to answer this question.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. We do have other questions. I think probably that would be better fit given the fact that
if you meet Raj and ask him, he will tell you how many times I have told Raj that I'm afraid of AI.
no, even in his talk there were questions on similar lines, and he did answer them.
Yeah, but he could answer them.
Yeah, and he's very active with the AI community of IIT Bombay as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
So I'll let you take the next question.
Yeah. So there is another question from Abhi Shinde. And the question is on EQ versus IQ.
Yes.
How did you exhibit this in your business relationships? So you have to be hard-nosed and technical, but also demonstrate soft skills of relationship.
Actually, business is all about relationship, please. So that's the real skill. And this skill, see, don't try to be smart, please. You have to come out as being genuine. If you're not genuine, everybody can see through it, please. So I have I don't know whether I fully answered the question, so could you repeat it?
So the question was, how did you demonstrate in your business? Probably he or she is looking for examples from your life experiences that how you demonstrated.
Okay, this may take more than 1 minute to answer.
Yeah.
You see, as I'm not a hands-on manager, I go very rarely to my factories. At this moment, because of the nature of our business, we need to be close to the customer. And therefore, I mean, we are in 18 locations across the country, right from the north to the south, because we are wherever there is a auto OEM, we are there. So on the rare occasion, I go to the factory. The moment I enter, I can notice something that is wrong. But I don't say anything. I go around, complete the whole tour of the factory. Then in the afternoon, when we are sitting down for lunch, I casually mention, when we went round, I saw this. Please look into it. When I noticed the problem as I entered the factory, I could have got upset and said something. It would have broken the heart of those people, because they would say, this guy comes after 3-4 months. He cannot see all the good we have done in these 3-4 months. This one small thing we forgot to do by oversight, and that's the only thing he can see. Because whatever is good normally cannot be seen. Whatever is wrong sticks out like a sore thumb. So please understand that people do a lot of good. It cannot be seen. That doesn't mean that they have not done it. And if there is something, do it very quietly. So during lunch, I casually mention it. What is it? The result would be the same, or rather, it cannot be the same. If I do it the way I did it, it doesn't demotivate them. And they feel very good that I have not made an issue of it. So these are small gestures where you have to win the hearts of your team, please. And one thing, very important, they have to know that you are always there for them and their family, please. That is essential, that they can count on you. And unfortunately, always in an organization, somebody or the other, an employee, faces a problem. And that's the time when others watch what you did. So please demonstrate that you truly care for your employees.
So the next question is from Shirish Agarkar. He says, why do you think India does not have companies like Google, Microsoft, etc., yet celebrate software success? Not understanding that, but why do you think IITians succeed abroad but not in India? What can be done about it? If Indians can be head of largest companies in the world in the US, why not India?
Again, I will answer it, but I don't know whether I'm the right person to answer this kind of a question.
You've proven
You
this
see,
question wrong.
That's what I was thinking.
Beg your pardon?
You have proven this wrong, basically. That's what I was thinking, that you are an example.
That is different. No.
Yeah.
You see, the ecosystem in India has really not enabled us to really capitalize on the capability of brilliant people. But that is definitely changing, please. That is definitely changing. And if I have to answer more of this question, we will be getting into the area of politics. So I'd rather not answer. And I hope Mr. Narendra is listening to it.
No, all right. And it's almost the time, and we are actually in time. So rather than going into something, out of the line, I think let's finish on a bright side that we have been kind of focusing on in the talk itself. So yeah, it was a fantastic talk, Mohanji. It was great hearing to you, and I think everyone loved it. The audience loved it. thanks a lot for your time, taking out, your time for this particular talk. Obviously, some people are asking if you would have some availability for mentoring. I'm not sure about that. Maybe, if there is yes, no type answer, you can let, IITB alumni know. Yeah.
Yes. I like to spend time with young people and share my thoughts.
Yeah.
See, because of the way I started and everything, my ideas are very simple, please. I don't use any jargon or anything, please. And I think there's nothing like simplicity. So
Great.
I will be more than welcome to talk to any person who would like to speak
Sure.
to me.
So probably your email ID is already anyways, in the public domain.
And the other thing is, one of the professors contacted me yesterday. We are always welcoming students if they wish to see any one of our factories, because I think it makes a difference.
Okay.
It makes a big difference.
Good to know, Mohanji. Okay, thanks a lot for your time.
So a dozen people are likely to visit on the 15th of March.
Okay.
This is Professor, I forget his name. Anyway.
Probably from civil engineering.
No, he's mechanical engineering.
Okay, mechanical. All right. No, but it's fantastic to know, and probably your email ID is already in the public domain. But I'll let people know that if they want to get in touch, probably they can write over to that. And as and when you find time, you'll respond. All right. Thanks a lot for it. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And it was a pleasure.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, Rishi. Bye, Vaibhav. Good night.